my very favorite economic indicators just dropped, and it's really interesting. The indicator is the Beige Book. I guess the cover of it used to be beige, but now it's mostly electronic. It's a report that comes out 8 times a year, and all of the Federal Reserve banks across the country contribute a chapter to it. So there are 12 Federal Reserve banks all across the country. They cover different regions. There's a San Francisco bank, there's a Dallas bank, there's a St. Louis bank, there's a Richmond bank, there's a New York bank. They're all over the country. And for the Beige Book, the economists who work there start making calls all over their district. They talk to business owners and workers and different companies in different sectors, and they basically try to get a sense of what is going on in the local economy through stories. And this is why I love the Beige Book, because when it comes out, you can read it. They write up little sections and you can kind of read it like a novel. Now, a lot of economists will throw some shade at the Beige Book, saying this is not a serious economic indicator. These are just like stories and yarns from people across the country. But economic trends often show up in the Beige Book before they show up anywhere else. People will start talking about these things, noticing them before they show up in the numbers. Jobs was a huge theme in this Beige Book and is a huge theme in the economy right now. And basically, every single district across this country was reporting from businesses and workers across all sectors that there's just a whole lot of nothing going on in the job market. Here's a section from the New York chapter of the Beige Book that kind of sums it up. It says hiring is subdued and that companies are hiring to replace workers who leave and they're not hiring to expand. And they noticed turnover was exceptionally low. This theme just echoed all across the country in different forms, where workers are just staying in their jobs. They are not leaving, they are hanging on. Companies aren't really making a lot of moves. There's just kind of crickets in the job market. It's really interesting to see the different ways it manifests itself. The Chicago chapter of the Beige Book reported that one machinery manufacturing company said that their employees had basically stopped negotiating for raises for a year. The Minneapolis chapter of the Beige Book reported that a job fair in Minnesota was canceled because there was just a lack of available jobs. Like they couldn't find enough employers to make the job fair happen. A Montana staffing company reported that they were getting a record number of job applications, but this is really interesting. Almost all the workers who were applying for jobs and contacting the staffing company already had jobs. This is not the Great Resignation. People are staying in their jobs and looking for other jobs while they're in their jobs, but companies aren't really hiring. There's a really interesting moment in the Minneapolis chapter of the Beige Book where it says a Minnesota supply company got 12 applications for a driving position, a very high-skilled driving position. And look at this. One of the people at the company says, quote, "I about fell out of my chair." So things have turned around a lot in the job market. It was so hot for a while after the pandemic. There was so much hiring and so much churn and so many people quitting. There was just churn and heat. And right now it's just cold. So why is this happening? What's going on? According to the Beige Book, a lot of companies are just feeling really uncertain about the future. Apparently, everyone is just waiting to see which way the presidential election and the economy are going to go, and then they will make their moves. And for now, we're all just waiting.